Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So today I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today, and that is because the Super Smash Bros PC port Battleship has gotten a big update. The developer on this one, Emissary, sent me over a message on Discord mentioning they just updated the build with a ton of new fixes, quality of life improvements, and now full modding support. So much so they developed a few mods for this actual release that you can play today, and they range from kind of fun to absolutely over the top fun if you have a friend next to you. Before you get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But honestly, a ton of people have been having fun with Battleship. It now has online support with additional code that you can incorporate in, and it's gotten a ton of fixes since its initial release and all of the other previews I've done for it. And again, I just absolutely love that you can play something like Super Smash Bros. On PC in 2026 with a high resolution texture pack with friends. It really does give the game a whole new life because honestly, I still remember playing this back in the day. It absolutely consumed like 3 months of me and my friend's life because once this game came out, everyone just gravitated towards it. And even though we obviously have newer Smash Bros. Games today, this is still one that a lot of people love playing, and I totally understand why. But let's get into the mods here, because that really is going to be the main takeaway, because now you can develop any sort of mod for Super Smash Bros. You want if you so wish. But the developer on this one put in a 2-player mode in the main campaign. Now, I did not have a second person in the house with me to set the controllers up, so basically I just mirrored controller 1 and controller 2. So if it seems like things are a little bit squirrely here, that is because I am both Link and Captain Falcon at the same time, because I didn't want to show this off, but I didn't want to wait for my wife to come home and try to convince her to play Super Smash Bros., a game she's never actually touched. But now if you want to play with a friend, you can sit down and have 2-player support in the main campaign. Sure, it's a little bit cheesy, sure it's going to make the game a lot easier, but you can actually set friendly fire on or off so you can kind of pivot around and fight yourself if you so want to. So if you take a look at the repo, here's at version 1.4.1, but I'm showing you 1.4 because it has all the patch notes, and now it has that native C mod support. So if you want to make mods for Super Smash Bros. Battleship, or you know somebody who wants to, they're going to be able to do that now. Now don't forget, this is still basically the first 24 hours, at least as I am capturing this. There's not going to be a ton of mods out there, but I'm sure in 6 months to a year, you're going to see a lot more fun stuff brought into Battleship, and that's going to be a fun time. And before you ask in the comments below, no, I still don't know if Remix is going to be in the cards for this PC port, but because that does have a lot of custom mods in it, I'm sure they could be recoded to be put into this build. But I don't know if you're ever going to just basically double click an executable and be able to select the Remix ROM for the game versus the standard shipped ROM that you got back in the N64 days. But I do hold out hope that it is possible. And if you're wondering how I'm playing this, again, whatever character I'm controlling is the one that's closest to an enemy. So when you see Captain Falcon just completely fall off the screen there, that is because I am looking at Link. And again, this is going to be something that is just a lot more fun if you have a second person in the room with you, versus how I'm doing it here, which is using one controller to control 2 characters at the same time. But again, I work for myself from home, so I didn't have a second human being hanging around. And again, if I invited Mrs. Esoterica into the room to play it, I don't know if we'd get any better gameplay out of this than me actually controlling both characters at the same time. But this is definitely going to be very promising because now it's going to allow creators to go in and turn this into whatever they want. I'm sure you're going to see a CJ from Grand Theft Auto mod in here probably in like the next month or 2, because that's obviously the #1 thing, either that or Thomas the Tank Engine. But it really is impressive to see how far Emissary has pushed this port with quality of life improvements, with 16:9 support, with collaborators getting online play, and now getting a full mod engine in. It's just 10 out of 10 fun to see how much they're doing with this one. And again, you'll see that classic co-op 2-player classic mode has been added. Let's do the first of 2 soundtrack samples so you can get the audio quality out of this recent build, and I'll be right back with a lot more Smash info.
3, 2, 1, go! Welcome!
I mean, it just sounds like Smash Brothers to me, but you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think. So if you do want to play around with some of these mods, you can see here that they're in the gameplay section. You're going to have auto Z cancel as well as flash on failed auto Z cancel, and those are going to be some of the things that have come in, and I'll show you the GitHub notes in just a bit. But you'll see here classic co-op is selected, and you can select co-op friendly fire if you so want to. Obviously I didn't do that because I was playing two characters at the same time, so it would become absolutely just a complete mess for the capture if I had done that. And again, it's one of those things, this is not how the mod was intended to be played, but I think it actually makes for a really funny capture, but in areas like this becomes almost impossible. But of course the intention is you're going to have a second person sitting next to you with a controller so they can actually play the game at the same time. And I will say, because Smash is predicated on having some stages where there are more than two characters on them at once, the camera works completely fine outside of one bonus stage. But again, I think that's just because I had the same controller set to both inputs, so I was basically still trying to control Link after he fell off the stage. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, what's the #1 mod you would want to see come into something like the Super Smash Bros PC port if you were able to snap your fingers and just make it possible? For me, I definitely think it would be at least some of the characters from Remix. I'd love to see Crash Bandicoot in here just because it's a vibe playing as Crash Bandicoot in a Super Smash Bros game. But there's so many different options out there as to what could happen. Really, the sky is now the limit because it is using C code. A lot of people should be able to do this if they know how to write it and do want to mod it, because there's so many different code bases out there, some that people are super familiar with and others that are still kind of becoming more emerging in the modding scene. So it's good that it uses a code base that a lot of people, if they can code, have definitely seen before. And this basic package of a Smash PC port really has had a lot of legs. I know when I first did the initial video, people didn't know if it was going to be supported. There was some skepticism out there that it wasn't going to see any more improvements than just the initial release. And obviously Battleship and Emissary have shown that they plan on supporting this project long term, because we've had so many different builds. We went from basically just having this in 4x3 with the standard textures and a couple freezing issues in the first build, to now having it at 16:9 with 4K texture support with online play and now a full modding engine. If you're wondering why there's pillar boxes on the left and the right, the one thing the game doesn't do is if you maximize it, it will go to your monitor's aspect ratio if it's in full screen, but for me I use ultra wide, so it stretches out too much, so I had to drag the window and try to make it 16:9 and I just shorted it a bit. But you'll see you have that Z cancel option as well as all these quality of life improvements in the new build, so you're just getting a better, more performant, more stable version of Battleship than you had before. But again, like the developer says on the GitHub page, this is still in active development, so if you do find a bug, go ahead and open up an issue ticket and let them know where it is, and if you have some photographic evidence, definitely upload that as well, because honestly, one person trying to fix everything is always going to miss something, but when thousands of people check, they definitely find stuff. And I'm not sure what's going on with Pikachu here. His logic is absolutely bugged out, but that could be in the base game as well, so leave me a comment. Second soundtrack sample, and I'll be right back.
3, 2, 1, go!
I do like the fact that if one of the players runs out of too many lives, then they're going to have to wait until the next round where they're granted 1 life back, because you do want to have some sort of stakes if you're playing this as 2-player. But again, you might want to take the CPU difficulty and jack it all the way to its highest setting, because of course the game isn't balanced for going in and fighting Giant Donkey Kong with 3 players. It's balanced for 2 because you get an assist here, and those still work perfectly fine, and you can play the game from start to finish in 2-player mode with no issues whatsoever. And again, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens in the future, because this new modding system really is future looking. I am sure in like 6 months you're going to see some of the weirdest stuff in Smash Brothers. Some of it's going to be amazing and highly entertaining, some of it's going to be absolutely weird. But you'll see here, this is the one weird area where basically Captain Falcon was still up there and the camera got locked, but again, probably because I am duplicating the inputs across both controllers. But short of that, Pikachu doesn't want to fight. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.